Hello and welcome to the Beefy Tech channel. Today we have a much required video on troubleshooting Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's and Warzone 2's main issues, which would include dev errors, in-game stuttering, and getting terrible frames despite having high-end computers. I'll be doing two separate videos for hardware and software related troubleshooting, and today's video focuses only on troubleshooting software related issues and offering fixes through setting changes, reinstalling specific apps, and apps that may improve stability. Let's get things started, and first things first, I just want to get it out the way that there is currently a dev error fix, and it's not for every single dev error, but specifically for dev error 11557. If you're getting this exact dev error, currently the best solution you have is simply reinstalling the game, as there's a corrupt file according to Infinity Ward themselves. Anyway, moving on to some in-game settings to help your stability. Alright, let's get started with the best settings to enable and disable within COD to best optimize it. I just want to preface that this is not a full settings video. I'm just going to let you know about a couple of things to enable and disable. It's not going to be a complete guide. Anyway, first things first, go to settings, go to interface, and scroll down to parallax effects. You're going to want to turn parallax effects off, as they've caused crashes before. Now go to graphics, go to quality, and scroll down to on-demand texture streaming. Turn this off, as it uses your internet bandwidth and can also cause stuttering. You can also turn on terrain memory and set it to max, as this could increase smoothness, but currently it's bugged to where it keeps unapplying itself. Regardless, now we move to display settings, scroll down, and we have VSync. VSync is good, as it can solve the issue of the game feeling better, while it's not actually any better. But I would recommend keeping it off if you're getting high frame rates and you're not having issues with tearing. Always have VSync off. But if you are getting low frame rates and if you're dealing with tearing, VSync is a good solution to band-aid fix stuttering. Alright, here we are inside a private match, currently doing a bit of testing. What I want to demonstrate is GPU and CPU time latency, as it's quite important for troubleshooting your own computer. As you can see in this specific private match, within a shipment match, I'm getting 5 milliseconds on the GPU and 3 milliseconds on the CPU. Typically, within Warzone, on my 3080 plus 5800X 3D rig, I would be seeing anywhere between 5 to 6 on the GPU time in Warzone, and 4 to 5 on the CPU time, yet again in Warzone. But here it's obviously different, as there's no AI to load, no other players to load, so the CPU time is much lower. What I want to point out is that if the CPU time is lower, the CPU is faster, you have a GPU bottleneck, meaning that's good. If the CPU time is higher than your GPU time, you have a CPU bottleneck, meaning that either your RAM or your CPU is too slow to fully back up your GPU. And this is a very good way to know what the bottleneck of your system is. You also want to check your GPU temperature, because this could be causing stuttering if you're getting into thermal throttle range, which generally is anywhere between 85 to 90 degrees for most GPUs. It would be very noticeable for most people though, but I'm just going to mention it. You also want to check your CPU temperature, which you can generally just do through Task Manager or through other applications that see your CPU temperature while you're playing. You want to check all of these because regardless of what I show you today, if there's a bottleneck in your system, that will most likely be causing the stuttering or crashing over any other program or software. Alright, let's get things started with the best NVIDIA control panel settings. Now, these settings are mostly going to be just to be sure. They will not make much of a real life difference outside of making sure that your computer always runs at its best, but what you want to do is go to Manage 3D Settings and follow along. So, over here you're going to have to scroll down a little bit and set your low latency mode to on. It's off by default, as a fair note, and this applies globally. Now, scroll down further and select your Open Rendering GPU to your main graphics unit, which is generally going to be your dedicated graphics card. I have the 3080, for you it's going to say whatever graphics card you have. Now, for power management mode, you're going to want to have Prefer Maximum Performance. And this is quite an important one, depending on if you have a lower, for example, a laptop or something like that. This could be huge for a laptop. Anyway, moving on, for the shader cache size, you're going to want to set this to 10 gigs. You could set it higher, but 100 gigs is absolutely absurd to take from your storage, so I'd recommend leaving 10 gigs, as by default it's generally far less than 10 gigs, so it's better to have 10 gigs than the default. And then go to texture filter and quality and set it to high performance, which generally it's set to quality by default. After you're done with all of this, go down here and click apply. After it's applied, these settings will be kept globally for every single game. Anyway, moving on to the next section. Alright, next things next, we've got the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. This is quite a popular way to solve stuttering for a lot of people, so I decided to include it here as it could be useful. What you're going to want to do is click official download here. It'll download on the bottom right. I'm going to demonstrate right here, and then you're going to want to open it and extract. While I've already done that, I'm just letting you guys know, you're then going to want to find the folder ISLC v1.0, whatever the version is, and then click on it. And now you're in the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. You're going to want to click again, say yes, and you've got the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner downloaded. You can close everything else, and over here what you're going to want to do is start ISLC minimized and auto start monitoring and launch ISLC on user login. And you're going to want to set your free memory is lower than whatever half of your RAM is generally. My total system memory is 32 gigs, so I can just set it to roughly 16,000 megabytes, and that should be perfect. It doesn't have to be oddly specific. Anyway, for the wanted timer resolution, you're going to want to put 0.5, and then just click the delete key on the rear one to delete the other values and click enter. And then you can put enable custom timer resolution and start. And you can leave the ISLC polling rate on 1000, as that is fine for most computers. This will constantly be purging the standby list and maybe helps with your stuttering in Call of Duty. Alright, for the people that are still struggling and still need a way to figure out what the source of their problem is, I do have a couple more recommendations. User Benchmark is a great tool to be able to compare your PC parts, CPU, GPU, RAM, SSD, everything, against other people. I do have to admit it is slightly biased against AMD, but that doesn't matter, as all you're going to use this for is to see if your CPU is maybe falling behind, or if your GPU is maybe falling behind, or if it's your SSD. It will let you know. So download this, run the benchmark, and then you'll have a much better idea of where to begin troubleshooting. This could be a hardware related problem for you, the person that is currently still struggling with stutters this deep in the video, so this is a good place to start. Another thing that's good to do is OCCT. This benchmark tool is essentially a stress test / benchmark tool that will run your CPU at its max, it will run your RAM at its max, it'll give you all the information you need regarding heat, power, everything. I've got it downloaded here so I can actually show you how it works. It's a really good application, especially for overclockers that want to test their stability. But if you're already running into stability issues, this is just a great tool overall. Right here, you can run tests on memory, CPU, and run VRAM tests and power tests and see just how much power you're pulling. If something's overheating, this will tell you. It's a great tool to have, and you can download it at ocbase.com. Now, if none of this works, let's assume you find nothing wrong in your OCCT, nothing wrong in your user benchmark, you go here and you re-download Windows. I know that sounds like the most basic thing to do, but generally, upgrading Windows, re-downloading Windows, or completely resetting your system is the best way to solve instability in a system that is not overclocked. I personally would love to give more help to people, but I would like you guys to comment down below and let me know what specific issues you're having. And in my upcoming video to do with hardware troubleshooting, I will attempt to focus on things that I've seen in the comment section that people are all struggling with. Thank you for watching, and if you need any more help, let me know. Have a good day.